member who has joined this. There are 28 participants, and this is what I'm going to talk about is the very practical aspect of logical framework. So whatever has been taught in terms of logical framework in the other session, how the flow is organized to understand a project in logical framework, that I'll be doing. I'll be covering that part. So just let me try to share. Why it's not coming? Can someone help me? I'm trying to link, but it's not. There are. Just wait, huh? Entire screen. Just let me share. Could you see anything? Are you seeing the screen?
Yes.
All right, just wait, huh? I'm just looking into my presentation. So I'm just coming to my presentation part now. So it's are you seeing the screen?
Yes, it's visible.
All right. So I am going to tell very practical aspects of this, how the process flow is organized in logical this one model for social, in social assessment is a part of it, but how the project itself is organized, I think it's very important for social auditors to know. So what I'm going to touch upon is that how you can look into the project as to the framing of the project, how the your input, output, and in terms of outcome and the impact are organized. For that, what I have done is I have. Can you please mute? Otherwise, others are getting disturbed. Yeah. So now I'm, with one example of one project, I'm going to show you. I think that is the best thing to do basically. Without an example, it's very becomes difficult to, get into this, the understanding of logic model in practical terms. So this is one project I had myself handled. It's a livelihood project, and I have taken a little complex project. Since you all have a great intellectual capacity to understand, so given that what I'm going is that it's a livelihood project, and I'll just first give you a very brief about the project so that you'll get a hang of what this project is, and I'll go to the core issues after this one. All right. So this project was called ULIP, and then we had to focus families, the most poorest families in 17 most food insecure blocks of Uttarakhand. That was in 959 villages, and it covered 5 districts and 17 blocks. So this just gives the hang of what the project is all about. See, the total families were 63,406, but we had taken only 52,690. Why it is, I'll let you know. It all, how the targets are set in the project design phase. One need to understand, as social assessment, auditors, it's not only that what was your target and what you have achieved, but the overt part of the logical framework needs to be understood. Why, out of 63,000, only 42,000 had been taken. What was the logic? Yeah. So now coming to this impact, normally in a goal of the project, it's called impact. That is the overall part. Fine. So you could see here at the back side, the project was from 2004 to 2012 for 8 years. All right. But in the second slide, you will see that the goal, something has been chosen by 2022, not 2012. So why it is there? Because it's the impact part. Even if one wants, then you will not get impact within the project period. All right. So one has to wisely set the project impact, and one has to budget time in a manner the impact is really shown at that point of time. That means here it was 10 years after the project got over. All right. So the overall purpose, what we see is the overall outcome of the project. And this one I have already told what we could achieve by the end of the project period. All right. So normally one talks, starting from input, but it's wrong to, talk about any project starting from input. Normally what logical framework says is that it first sets the impact. After that, it will set the overall purpose that will lead to impact. And this overall purpose is the overall outcome of the project, which you can see at the end of the project period, only at the end of the project period. Okay. And intermittently, this will be supplemented. This will be, uh, uh, this will be, what I can say is that is the outcome that leads to overall outcome of the project. And there are activities which leads to the outcome, and input is something like, in terms of money, in terms of manpower, what is going, it's input that will create the activities and the outcome. So kindly understand, it's not input, activities, output, outcome and impact. It is the impact, overall outcome, then we design the outcome, then we design the activities, and then we decide the input, means how, what is the costing, what is the manpower needed. All right. So here, in terms of overall outcome, fulfilling the overall outcome, the outcome part, normally it's designed into the project components. All right. What one should fulfill in different project components, depending upon different outcomes that would lead to overall outcome. So here, pre-project implementation is very important. It's not written only pre-project work. It clearly mentions implementation. Even if it's a pre-project, then there are some implementation part in the project before the project starts. One has to understand this one. And after that, the second component, which is, that means the second outcome is empowerment of and capacity building of the community, because it was the livelihood project. I'll go to the framework later on. You just see basically what are C, D, E, and F. I'll just elaborate that so as to make you understand of things that how the outcomes are set in the project design. So you can see this one. We had 4 categories of poor, and these categories of poor were not of the the categories designed by the government. What we could see that if I had designed why public participation in planning is important, why pre-project implementation is important, I am going to focus there. All right. So this vulnerable hardcore poor, there are 4 categories, and we did not take the sorry, it just kindly, yeah. So we did not take you can see the total household 63,000. We took only 42,690 household, although we had targeted 46,680 household. So what is it that is that we had only taken category 1, 2, 3, 4, that is written in green at the right, at the left hand side. All right. And we did not take well of category. So well of category comprised of about you can say 17, 18, sorry, about 27%, 27%, 100 minus 73%. So that was there. So one has to be very careful in terms of whom you are targeting and how you are targeting. So these things are very, very important. And वो हम क्या है कि I will just speak in Hindi also. We did not take कि वो गरीबी रेखा के नीचे, गरीबी रेखा, अगर गरीबी रेखा के नीचे करते हैं तो बहुत कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता, बिकॉज ये प्रोजेक्ट ऐसे डिजाइन था कि अलग अलग कैटेगरी के लिए, वनरेबल के लिए अलग सपोर्ट देना चाहिए, हार्डकोर पोर के लिए अलग देना चाहिए, और होवरिंग अबव द पॉवर्टी लाइन के लिए अलग देना चाहिए. इसीलिए ताकि whatever by the end of the project period people are, people from every category. This I mean to tell that the people whom we are working, although it's a livelihood project for the poor, but poor are not equals. There's a vast difference between the poor also. And any livelihood project or any project which goes to the field, it's a very complex situation. One need to understand, take into cognizance, and try to work with it from the inception stage of the project. This is what my focus is, for this, for showing this slide. Now I am just moving forward. All right. So I'm just showing you the funding pattern of the project also. All right. So I'm speaking that the project total, the project cost was 239 crore rupees, about 240 crore rupees. But at the same time, you can see this was an IFAD funded project who funded 47 crores. And at the same time, see what we have done is that financial institution, we had designed the project in a manner 28% of the fund will be chipped in from the financial institutions in terms of loans, in terms of whatever. And you can see if we are working from the poorest lot, so why we are keeping their community contribution? Yeah, it had 28.05 crore had to be mobilized from the community basically. Fine. So in the project design itself, you had put these type of provisions, and the way you design the project to achieve the whatever outcome you would like by the end of the project, the support system, the type of input, the type of output, all goes into supporting the community to achieve this level of social and financial capacity to contribute and keep on contributing, so that the project becomes sustainable. That is very, very important. It's very easy to design any project, just give it, go and check it whether they have got it or not, are they satisfied or not. No, the project is not that. Project from day one has to keep the essence of sustainability. And in the pre-project implementation part only, how you design the project to keep an sustainable age, it's very important to consider and keep it through the project process. So this is very, very important. Now I can tell you that how the project, I showed you the outcome part of the project, overall outcome, and I had showed you A, B, C, D, E, and F in the third slide. Yeah. So given that in each of the outcome, in pre-project implementation was one outcome where everything was designed to meet the objective of the project. Baseline survey was done. So to train to hire the staff, place the staff, train them. At the same time, to identify who is the hardcore poor, who are the people who are moderately poor, who are the people who are they didn't have land, nothing basically. So these type of people at the lowest rung, all of them are identified in the pre-project implementation. All right. So this is also one very important part of the project. Normally what happens is that, only from the project it is counted, but the quality of input that goes in pre-project implementers matters a lot in the long run. So for the sustainability of the project. So this outcome number B, C, D is something that is to be delivered, and E is something like project management. So a lot of value needs to be added in the project management part, which goes into building system for getting the project organized, building the architecture, capacity building here also comes, doing some strategic research, etc., all comes under project management. And you can see here there is rural finance also as one of the project component. All right. So now some, I think 4 crore 11 lakh rupees has been given on rural financing. So this is, now if I see, it's very important to see the overall design of the project. So in the overall design, what it is seen was is that the project was performed by a social wing and a business wing. So social wing was a society under Societies Registration Act, but there was alongside for that component F. I can see this component F, you can see, okay. One social venture capital company called Upasak was, under section 8 that time. That was under section 25 that time, but now it has become section 8 company. All right. After amendment made in 2013 Companies Act. So given that now I am, you can see the blue parts, green parts. Okay. So green parts are the components which have been aligned in achieving the overall objective of the project. So now you can see community-based organization, SHG federations, they get transformed into micro and medium enterprises through financial institutions investment. But lot of effort go in component B, that is identification and capacity building of poorest household, organizing, strengthening the capacity of SHGs and other institutions, and building the capacity of even the NGOs. In this component, NGOs and community-based organization had worked. All right. So, but in the second component, see the management and technical support of for enterprise development of all these community associations, then business development services for subsector development. I'll just go run through afterwards. Then equity capital and financial intermediation between SHG and financial institutions, and at the same time identify market and investment opportunity, that is F, and capacity building of micro enterprises was coming in component D. So these are component A, B, C, and D. How it is aligned in the overall architecture of the project to get the performance organized is in this slide. So I am going forward. So just to get you the hang of things, I've already told. I think fourth point I can. I'll come to well-being ranking. I have already told segmentation of a subsector as per world well-being ranking. I have already told segmentation of intervention for cross subsidization with focus on market approach. Yeah. Why we categorize the poor and into four categories? Because the cross subsidization and the type of intervention had to be different for each category. All right. So again, engaging women for socioeconomic activity, we had primarily focused on women, and 5% of the men's SHGs were also there. And there was provision of technical knowledge, backward forward inputs, and business development services, etc. And then we had prioritized on cluster specific value chains. What happens in projects like in livelihoods or anything is that people go and give their inputs in bits and pieces, basically. Yeah, if you are, it's sometimes it is, most of the times it's supply led. Someone, funding agency have analyzed this is the gap, and someone went there and gave that input. But at the same time, where is the demand side? It's very important equally to create demand of the project till, by the time we reach the midterm. It's important, then only project will sustain. So uh, and at the same time, we prioritize cluster specific value chains because everything works on economy of scale. Yeah, collective marketing approach to create economy of scale, I've already told. One is umbrella branding of the products and services whatever they gave. Ultimately, we identified 7 value chain for from this from this project clients. Although we had started with uh, uh, 26 preliminary identified activities, but we zeroed down to only 7 value chains. So, convergence plays a very important role in any of the developmental projects and social projects. Yeah. So what was done was that whatever the poor categories were, there were some widows, there were some pensioners, there were some divyangs. So they had not received many of the stipends from the government. First, whomsoever we work with NGO, the first circle, we had to work with them to identify who all these people are. They are the most vulnerable. Fine. So poor are not equal. Even within the poor, whosoever have the vulnerable categories, they are the poorest basically. People who do not have land are the poorest. So when you don't have land, you cannot work with them sometimes. All right. So what are the specific intervention you choose with them when they don't need land to improve their livelihoods? That also needs to be analyzed. So apart from that, NGOs, financial institutions, there are many commodity boards, then commercial institutions, professional organization, technical research institutions, line departments role, as I told, very important, social line departments, departments, technical line departments like agriculture, horticulture, animal husbandry, etc., etc. Many of the international agencies are also side by side interested, and individual consultants, community resource persons are also, they emerge as the project moves on. I'm showing this slide. uh, when one goes to see convergence, what all one need to see depending upon the project. So this is very, very important, because it's the convergence which sustains, which gives the energy to the project to meet the desired uh, outcome. So, in terms of first level outcome here, as I have already told, what is outcome and what is output. Output could be different, but in terms of outcome, you could see how many community organizations were targeted to form. This is in the third column. Membership community organization, savings in lakh, some 8 crore rupees had to be saved by them. They excelled, exceeded in the cumulative achievement. Interloaning, they had to do and you can say the achievement has been more than that. And at the same time, number of groups linked with banks, federation, group links with linked with federation, there were 3,200, and out of that 3,197 could be achieved. That is 99%. Now group members linked with federation, we had targeted 32 and it was 29,002, some 90% at the end of the project. So this is the first level outcome only. All right. Now, as I was talking, just let me have a water. Now I'm talking about, uh, until unless we give them marketing support and we organize the value chain, make them work for it, link with the market, and give all the support system to organize this value chain. Poor will not be able to come out of poverty. All right. So the value chain we had identified were the organic farming, off-season vegetable. See, for value chain of broiler is the hybrid between broiler and desi murga. And this is something like for the poorest, only broiler we are successful because they didn't have land. So these birds used to graze freely, and it provided very good meat and eggs to the poorest households basically. But the things like dairy, medicinal aromatic plants and all, it were for the people who are hovering above the poverty line. Means they are good, but if someone becomes sick in the family, they'll go to poverty. Okay, so these type of families are called hovering above the poverty line. And this off season also matched very well with hovering above the poverty line. But see, we did not give support to the well-off people in all this value chain, but they themselves got integrated with all this value chain to organize the market, because in the village they are also the part of the ecosystem. So if they wanted to come, then we did not keep them away. But at the same time, whatever support had to be given, that were given to the lowest three category of the people. So you can just see by the end, at the end year, 71 federations, and they had turnover of about 2,42,000, sorry, 242 lakh rupees. So these were the various activities. So this is just to get a hang of things. Now I'm just telling that in terms of in terms of what was there and how they contributed. Actually, at the end of the project, actually the different IFAD, how much they contributed in terms of crores, financial institution how much, community how many they could contribute, and it's in the third line. So through convergence, this project could bring 37 crores. And you could see that at the end there were 72 business federations. That was 2012. So what project had proposed earlier, huh? In the goal, that is the impact was by 2022 we will be having we'll be achieving 100%. Okay. And now by 2021, you can see that there are 233 business federations. Yeah. And turnover, you can see by the end in 2012, yearly turnover was 242. And in the year 2022, 2022, this business federation have increased manifold. That means whatever input had been given for the poorest, that were adopted by the other people also. At the same time, how it has happened is the funding agency was greatly satisfied, and they expanded the project in other areas also. That's how this business federations have come, but it was with very less of intervention they could achieve that. So this is just a nutshell, in terms of project outcome is by the end what happened. The external agency, our social assessors, they assessed this outcome in terms of how much, what has increased, and 4 times more household are cultivating off-season vegetables, and earning what has happened, all these basically. So in a nutshell, I just would like to tell that you can see with blue color, I am talking about the investment. In terms of blue color, you can see we had invested 37.77 crore in the particular, see, component C and component D. But at the same time, what was there is that the project mobilized 96.69 crores. Sorry, I could it's just the reverse basically. We invested 36.69 crores, and the investment mobilized was you can see the table through convergence 37.77, formal financial institution investment mobilized, and community mobilization. So this is something like, when we tell that, when you work with the poorest lot, it's only subsidy works, but it's not that. If you work carefully, design the project carefully, and work through and through with every segmented, verticals of the poor in a different manner, then it was instrumental in moving ahead from subsidy mode to business mode for livelihood promotion. So this is just a nutshell. I just wanted to bring home the point. Now I'll come to the real subject uh, for which I'm here today. So just wait, huh? So I'll just go to the log frame, how the log frame is organized for such projects. Can you see the log frame? Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
madam, we can
So
see it,
now
but
see
it
the log frame. Okay. See the log frame. When you see the log frame, it's called, the goal. You can see whatever I had written in goal, it's there. All right. The purpose, overall purpose, whatever I had written in the overall purpose in the second slide, it's there. All right. So now component A, fine. Component A was pre-project implementation, and what had to be done was component A identification of 17 most food insecure development blocks and 959 poor villages, and I have marked with blue color. That was participatory well-being ranking exercise. Why public participation is very important. Had we done only by garibi rekha se niche, there would have lot of conflict. So we got the poorest, hardcore poor, and the hovering above the poverty line people and well-being people identified there and there itself by them only in a meeting, so that everyone knew that whatever is being given to the other person, even the poorest per broiler, if I get 100% subsidy, people accepted that yes, this project is for the poorest, and we should at least this type of uh, subsidy need to go to them. But if there were uh, off-season vegetables for people hovering above the poverty line people, okay, then we told them, you go to horticulture department and uh, get the poly house with subsidy. We'll be providing you all the technical and marketing inputs, and make your poly house in whatever investment 50%. There was subsidy of horticulture department was 50%. If you invest this 50%, I will give all the inputs and market linkage, and they did quite well. Okay, for it was not very much for subsidy, because they were hovering above, and for well of people they accepted themselves. So given that, now empowerment of and capacity building of the community organization, that is component B, and the type of activities you can see, yeah, all these percentage it's given. And I'll just go a little backward, huh? This, see, component A, sensitization of government department was also very important. Selection of NGO partners and recruitment of staff, training of NGO partners, etc. So these are very, very important part. All pre-project implementation conducted. Huh? And now again, I'll come back to the all this main thing I have to explain is here. See, the project, you can see this we had done after midterm review. All right, upper you can see here, I'm just this one, this is you I'm just putting a blue color, midterm review. So at the what the project started in 2004 till 2012. All right, at the same time you can see that this one, all this green part, yeah, by the end of the project did not commit that we'll get 100% of, you can see number 3 and number 4 in the second column. Key performance indicators. We are saying 50% of target household raised above poverty by the end of project, EOP. Okay? Dropout rate of girl decreased by at least 20% in the secondary school and high school by the end of project. Fine. And at the same time, you must be thinking why this dropout rate is coming in the livelihood. Quality of life ultimately impinges upon the quality of the education of girl child. All women's drudgery, it distills and boils down to sending girl child not to the school. So this is, a very good indicator of poverty. So now you can see in overall purpose also, over 50% of household report improved access to development resources and services. You can see number 5, 6, 7. Over 50% of women report increase in CPR, community resource, access to community resource person by end of the project. All right. So these were, what happens in a project. Now, I'm not going to tell you whatever over things, has been taught till now. I am over things of logical framework. Okay. I am telling now, there are many covert things in development project. One, which a social, social social development people need to understand, and social assessors need to understand more. So given that the covert part is that the project carefully told to the funders that we will be able to achieve only 50% of uh, the impact by the end of the project as our outcome. All right, so this is very important. And at the same time, now you'll see that sometimes the funding agency have, our funder was IFAD, and IFAD had their own, indicators. And all this result based impact management system, it's written in red, RIMS. So whenever you do such projects, it's not that now whatever is being, told or whatever is being taught right up to here, huh? Whatever the funding agency wants, that indicators will be there in terms of performance indicator, which one need to fulfill for getting, for continuing the project in investment as an implementing agency. But it is not that. The funding agency have some indicators, but it is the project who need to find their indicators on themselves, and and should be able to monitor themselves in order to achieve the target. So rims, you can see only in few places you keep on seeing rims. This was IFAD's indicator, and IFAD was given space to put their indicators, because IFAD was aligned these indicators with poverty, malnutrition and hunger part in the sustainable development goal. All right. So someone might think that how come this, business development services, how come rural funding comes under poverty and hunger? But all are very intricately linked in the impact value chain. All right. So this is it. One, I just wanted to, bring home all these points in terms of understanding what a social project is, how the indicators are aligned, and what relation it has got with the funding agency. Because the law frame is not only for going and assessing a project. Law frame is a framework which gives space, great space. It's a great toolkit to create understanding between different stakeholders and even negotiate. Sometimes what happens as social assessors, they do not understand the project when they go to the field. But if you bring out the log frame and sit with the community, sit with the implementing agency, and go one by one, they will be able to tell their own stories, why they have kept it. Then only it will be a successful project. Otherwise, sometimes what happens, I've seen in many projects, that they will just go, and go and see the indicators, yes or no, just tick mark and come. The project is doomed to be, a failure project then. So this is something like, thorough understanding of log frame, understanding how these log frames were designed, and how these log frames indicator in terms of funding agency, what they must have thought, and why the other indicators are formed, and why it is, important for the implementing agency and the project beneficiaries, public clients, to have this in terms of moving forward. The, across the value chain of impact management, it's very important to understand. So like this, there are others also. You can see in empowerment and capacity building. Also, you can see what the project achieved. It's in the third one. We'll be giving you this all this the material, so that you'll have a comprehensive understanding. Here in the same this one, component C, also you can see whatever has been this one. And in the livelihood enhancement and development also, you can see these, all these have been fixed. Okay, and the outcome on component D also, it's there. So I'm not going very much into the details, but it's come, earlier. Now what I'll do is that, and this component is also there, project management. All right, so I explained you the core thing. Now what I'll explain is that I'll go to hyperlink 1. Now I'll explain you hyperlink 1. The project log frame. See, the project log frame at the inception stage, the funding agency did not, because funding agency knew this project was difficult. Okay, for funding agency did not put very clear indicators. They said that, you can see in column number 2, replication of similar intervention methodology investment projects with focus on micro enterprises with backward and forward linkage. All right, then the narrative they had given us was the same, the which I had put in the goal narrative. This in the third this one, third column. And at the same time, the project outcome is the same, end of the project. Now, by the time a project reaches a participatory project, it reaches till the midterm, we are fairly clear what we should achieve, what we can achieve, and with what we cannot achieve. All right, so a great deal of understanding needs to go from the project assessors to understand what are the, not only see the strengths and weakness of the project, but understand the project as a whole, and redesign the project so as to meet the end term, so as to set the end term targets. All right, in terms of fulfilling the objective of the project in whatever time frame that would be designed in the midterm. So I can show you you can see the narrative summary had only been given, and at the same time key performance indicator, you can see this had been designed, revised at the midterm. What I am showing is this one, the revise in the midterm, this part. Okay, and the original log frame as per the pad project appraisal document was this one. So this is how the project runs, and one has to be very flexible in terms of understanding the project, what works and what does not work. Only then one will be able to achieve whatever we would like to achieve in the long run. And yes, a great degree of understanding, a great degree of sincerity, the annual reviews and what they are doing, what they are not doing, then it has to be there in terms of fulfilling the objective of the project. So this, all this I just hyperlink 3, I will not go. Now I will, now I would like to go to the, sorry. Now I will come to at the same time, see, it's very important, the information emphasis to be given on, yes, developing a protocol on how the information is analyzed is very important for social assessors. But it's very important to hard code the how the information have been generated and how the information have been shared. Here I would like to tell that the principle of confidentiality, which our financial auditor adopts, that may not go quite well with the social assessment. This is very important that every stakeholder should know how things have been decided, and it needs to be pronounced to the implementing agency and the people. Then only they will be able to call on, they will be able to understand, and they will be able to give feedback. So hard coding the methodology of information sharing with whomsoever for whomsoever the audit is being done, it's also very important. We cannot hide anything, because it's the public we are dealing with basically. All right, so apart from this one, I would like to share that all these, like inclusiveness, relevance, effectiveness, efficiency and convergence, I have covered. At the same time, whatever overt part and a covert part of the logical framework, understanding, working with it, I tried to cover. At the same time, I would like to tell that one is that going and taking information and understanding, that works very well at the inception state, you need not follow. But when you come and you constantly start co-designing the project with the implementing agency and the clients, there it's very important to understand them, and then only we will be able to hand over the project to them. At the same time, project exit strategy is also very important. Exit strategy means one has to keep exit strategy in the mid-term review. There has to be a component of knowledge management. Knowledge management, whatever you have found, how you have disseminated, did the people adopt it or not, all these part, and what you yourself as social assessor learned, that is also very important. At the same time, the exit strategy is something like, before closing the project, from 2 years before the project, one should think and align the interventions in a way that people will be able to take over the project. This is very important. So take over the project means, until and unless your midterm pays attention as a social assessor, they will not be able to, we will not be able and learn and listen to the people there and ask them, how you sustain this project, what type of intervention change you want, so that we'll be able to sustain this project. The social assessor, has to ask these type of questions to them. Not only go and see that till midterm this has to be finished, they do or not tick mark, and try to understand some of the thing and come back. So you as a, what I feel that the social assessor, they are the architects who are working with the people, working with the implementers. So if there is a perfect co-learning between these agencies, with the social assessor, a grade could be achieved in social assessment. But if you go only by the assessment criteria which has been designed, uh, that will not pay anything. That will not, neither you'll be able to learn, nor project will be able to achieve anything. So questions, please. I am ready now. Thank you for listening, and your feedback are more welcome. Any questions, please? Hello? Are people listening? Any questions? Any questions you'd like to ask? So request for log frames. I'm just giving, I could see the chat, and good, fine. There are significant challenges. What are the significant challenges I faced? Yeah, there were significant challenges which I faced in terms of doing, uh, I will talk significant challenges in terms of, when you design the project in a proper way, then the project flow will be organized in such a way that it makes a lot of difference. And the challenge, in terms of, since I have worked with very good social auditors, they were from development backgrounds. So they will, I did not, some of the social auditors like mentors to me. So that was very important. And which is the log frame more useful, theory of change or log frame? See, log frame is theory of change. This is the basic thing. The practical, how theory of change is practically implemented, it gets implemented through log frame only. If you have learned only theory of change, and some examples of how input goes to output to outcome to impact, it is not theory of, it is only theory. It is only theory with some examples. Why I have come here, being in the advisory committee of social stock exchange to SEBI. So I found this was the biggest gap. I attended your one of the session, but I thought that if I could contribute here by making things open, until and unless a project makes log frame, design based on logical, based on theory of change, uh, uh, you'll not be, where you'll get a framework to implement, where you'll get the framework to discuss the project with different stakeholders, where you'll be able to design and redesign the project based on the exchanges and discussions, because social projects are very complex. Till whatever the participants must have done, the financial audit is very simple, but log frame gives you the space to discuss, understand the project, come up with whatever you think, and whatever the other things. So another part, an unique complex type of case with lots of challenges in the remote space. Yes, that is there. So I'll be sharing log frame and send to all the participants. What I'll do is that I'll send to, since what I'm finding last time also I found, I'll just try, I'm not being able to attach the document here. I'm trying, but what I'll do is I'll send all the three: main presentation, and the hyperlink 2 is something to understand in terms of project. Okay, and hyperlink 1 is something that how a project needs to be flexible in terms of designing, in terms of understanding things. And lastly, I told you how a social assessor has to be sharing his findings, and how social assessor not only take the information but be a participant in terms of co-designing the project through and through for creating outcome, desired outcome, to create desired impact. That comes only with this, by attaining the sustainability. Otherwise it will not come. So this developmental process has to keep on, reinventing itself to make it, worth it, to make it relevant till the end of the project. You please understand that. Again, I'll repeat, development project needs to reinvent on and on in order to stay relevant till the end of the project for sustainability. So this is my take of, handling so many development projects in the field. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon, madam. I have a question, small question.
Yeah, please do.
As you are attached with SEBI, when the SEBI is going to implement social audit in our country, or for the companies or CSR projects?
This is mostly the type of deliberation which we are doing now. It is for the project under social stock exchange.
Right, sir.
But you can do whatever I told you. This is implementable for CSR also. Wherever the funding is going from
what is the
anywhere
time frame?
else.
Yes. What is the time frame you are framing out with the SEBI? They are going to implement, say, suppose infrastructure is ready and other things are ready, so that we can start the audit work.
Yeah, it might take some time. We need to have a viable size of onboarding done. So SEBI is trying their best. This BSI and NSI, they are trying their level best to onboard the participants. Basically, participants means would like to take the fund and move on. So this is there.
Okay,
so
what is
I cannot tell the I cannot tell the exact time, but sooner the better. So we are SEBI is trying the level best for that.
Now, what is the question? My question is, how many organizations should be listed with NSC or BSC, whatever may be the social exchange, so that they can start this work? Or how many social auditor in India has already been qualified? So any other criteria is there or in their mind?
No, social auditor, I think the since I am I'll not be able to answer these questions. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
About 40 of them have done, and this is my, because I'm getting information from the other sources. Yes. And my answering to you could be approximate.
Yes, yes. It's okay.
Approximate.
Just I want to get the ideas, ma'am.
Yeah, about 40 of them. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your kind.
Thank you. So whatever maybe whatever you have learned great. But these are the more practical aspect of handling a project and understanding a project.
Yes.
An open mind, more with an approach of learning, being with the people, we can only make a difference on the ground. And you'll be knowing the real things. Otherwise, people will be telling lies. So this is more important. Yes.
Yes. Madam, you can share your experience in this presentation form also. Whatever you have shared today, like any other example, if you have, you can share to us. so that it will be easier for understand the projects, because
Fine,
projects are
fine. I'll
every
do
project
that
is
one.
different.
I'll do that. Yes.
Okay, every projects are different.
I will provide log frame of one or two more projects. Yeah. Just to give you understanding of things. Yeah.
Exactly, madam. That is
And
the
at
we
the
need.
same time, what does public participation means? All right.
Hmm.
That I have done many projects on public participation.
Very
I
good.
have taken the resources from the public to handle, handle the problems going on there and made it happen. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
these type of experiences also I can share if you want.
Yes, ma'am. If it is possible, you can share to our participant mail ID. Those who have participated, definitely it will be helpful to us.
Fine. I'll tell the organizers to float and I'll send to them.
Yeah,
Link.
that will also help us, definitely. We are member of ICMI, SAO, so definitely.
Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. So SAO, what I can do is that I think last year I am an alumni of this one. I am Bangalore. So alumni magazine had brought out. They wanted to write on me. So they asked me, and I have put 3 projects where I have taken public participation and made it happen. And one of these is this also, this project, the same project. So
Very
you'll
good.
get a hang of things that how we need to be with the people in terms of not in terms of making it happen on the ground. So this is from
Actually,
the implementation side I can do. Yes.
yes, ma'am. That will be very helpful for us for practical knowledge, because we don't have any on-hand job. If you can offer anything, whatever your project, and give some opportunity to have assist you, it will also be good for us. If you think in that way.
Fine, I'll look into it. Maybe I could
Thank you.
not. I really could not. Projects means, acha, yeah.
This type
Whatever
of social
project I am handling,
implementation.
other
Yes.
projects.
Yes, it's maybe an honorary basis, no issue of question of any fees. Just we are interested to understand.
Fine. So I think it's a great thing what you have told. See, whatever you would like to learn, so I will float this idea to SEBI also. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Not
Yes, ma'am.
only that, if they could go and understand and get a hang of things.
Hands
So
up
if
time.
some sort of internship type. Okay.
Some kind of
Exactly.
mentorship, ma'am, if we
Yes.
could be attached to an ongoing project or something that would give us a hands-on experience.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine.
Everybody is
Mentorship means,
interested, I think.
see what we felt is that if you could go to the field, that we have already put to SEBI also. Yeah.
Good. It is
In the
required.
next course, it's very important for you all to go at least for 1 or 2 days in the field and write your own report. All right.
Absolutely.
It
Yes.
could be a wrong thing, it could be a whatever basically, but if someone could mentor that basically, yeah,
Absolutely. Yes.
mentor that and check that and give you input, that will practically enhance your
Capability.
acumen, capability, whatever it is, without going to the
Absolutely.
field. It's quite a theory thing, so it
Yes.
becomes very difficult when you have to handle things. There will not be any understanding of the things at hand.
Yes.
So we are your feedback I'll definitely take to the next advisory committee meeting of SEBI also, because
Yes,
we
ma'am.
had already told them, then they had told that in our next reframing of the module we'll be able to insert that. But what I feel is that more and more social auditors are getting trained without
Yes.
getting practical hang of things, but we'll put in the module and get
Yes,
the things done basically. Fine.
Good. Very good, ma'am. Thanks for your good interactive session and presentation.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Namaskar.
Well,
Wish you all the
namaskar,
best.
ma'am. All the best to you also.
Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking this session. It was really informative and good session, knowledge gaining session to everyone. Thank you once again to taking this session, ma'am.
Fine. I'll send
Thank you,
all
ma'am.
the
Thank you, ma'am.
links.
Can I
Thank you,
ask
ma'am.
one
It's highly
question?
informative. It's highly
Yeah,
Madam,
yeah.
can
informative.
I ask you? Can I ask you one
Please
question?
ask.
I mean, SEBI has made it mandatory to do this social audit for listed companies, or is it in the, offing? So far, I'm not aware.
It is the
whether-
mandate. It's the mandate, and it's now, as you say, that ecosystem is building. Okay, it's the mandate basically.
But even Institute of Chartered Accounts of India has not even given any notification about the mandatory, rules or.
See, that is not, the decision has been taken. Now
direction from
the ecosystem is being built now. All right. So I think sooner they will be coming up with the desired mandate.
Okay, so all these professionals will be given the opportunity for this social audit.
See, now,
including
your association, your self-governing, self-reporting, whatever, your, fraternity in chartered accountancy is, all this needs to be in place basically. Yeah. So all these things are getting organized. So I'll not be able to take, because I have come to handle this session only. So I'll not be able to tell much on those aspects right now, because things are now getting evolved right now. So I cannot tell anything definite on this count. Yeah.
Sure. We will ask Nirmala Sitharaman. Maybe she can speak something about this at this level.
No, not
at
Nirmala Sitharaman. Things are
Only
getting
SEBI.
evolved. Now I cannot be telling whatever had been discussed, and it relates to your training thing. I could tell, but your employability thing part, I'll not be able to tell right now. Yeah. Training, we saw these type of, because training, I saw this type of gap, and you also related this. We want some apprenticeship. Then I could tell that this has been addressed. But in terms of your, when it start, how it start, I'll not be able to tell definitely right now. So this is my.
But can you tell this, if any this thing is happening in European Union countries or any other country?
It's happening. It's happening in many of the countries. It's happening, but although not very. There are different types of social stock exchange. So I'll not be able to, because many more things are there to tell. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much. Nice to meet you, and look forward to interact often. Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, good. Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.